Good morning, students. Today I will discuss about the third property of transaction, which is isolation. So what is isolation? When a transaction runs in isolation, it appears to be the only action that the system is carrying out at one time. That means whenever a transaction runs in isolation, no other processes should interfere in its execution. Otherwise, the system may not be in a consistent state. So transaction isolation ensures that each transaction executes independently in order to keep the system in a consistent state. If a transaction was not running in isolation, it could access the data from the system that may not be consistent. By providing transaction isolation, this is prevented from happening. Now consider both the transactions as shown in this slide. Both these transactions are trying to insert a particular record into the orders table as well as update a specific record in the items table. But in doing so, both these transactions should execute in isolation. If these transactions do not run in isolation, the system may not be in a consistent state. That is why it is important to run these transactions in isolation in order to maintain the consistency of the system. Let's come to the last property of transaction, which is durability. A transaction is said to be durable in that once it has been successfully completed, all the changes it made to the system are permanent. There are safeguards that will prevent the loss of information even in the case of system failure. By logging the steps that a transaction performs, the state of the system can be recreated even if the hardware itself had failed. To put it simply, the changes made by a transaction must persist. If the changes made by a transaction do not persist, it may lead to future inconsistencies in the database system. In this slide, I will be discussing how to insert a save point in a transaction. When a transaction includes more than one statement and we want that some statements to be committed and some statements to be rolled back based on certain conditions, in such cases we can define a save point in a transaction. A save point statement works as a marker in a transaction. This marker is useful in rolling back a transaction till the marker. We can add a save point anywhere in a transaction. When we roll back the transaction, all the statements up to the save point are rolled back and the statements above the save point are committed. In the next slide, you will understand the concept of save point properly with the help of an example. Now consider the following transaction as shown in this slide. This transaction consists of two statements. The first one is the insert statement and the second one is the update statement. Just after the insert statement, a save point called S1 has been created, and just after the update statement, the line rollback to save point S1 has been added. Now, as per the procedure, all the statements from the bottom of the transaction up to the save point S1 will be rolled back, which sends the update statements to the rollback position, and all the statements above the save point S1 will be committed, which puts the insert statements to be committed. Finally, since the insert statement is committed, its changes will be reflected in the database, and since the update statement is rolled back, its changes will not be reflected in the database. As a result, only for the statements which are committed, the changes will be reflected in the database, but for those statements which are rolled back, its changes will not be reflected in the database. So with this, I wind it up here today.